about this day. I go, can buses improve test scores? And then I thought, when I read into it, I go, you mean cleaner burning emissions buses that don't give toxins off like the old school buses, so a child's breathing and air are much better, which will help a child cognitively and help their test scores. So this makes a lot of sense to me. Tell the audience what we're talking about and how this came to be.
Well, we're talking today about changing the way children ride to school, because today they ride to school very much the way they rode to school 30 years ago, generally.
The yellow hound with diesel gas.
These dirty diesel school buses. And as you correctly said, we now realize that really diesel buses are much dirtier than we ever thought. And there had to be a better way. I mean, these diesel buses are expensive. They're harmful for the child. They're not good for the community. And there was a better way. And so we set out to find out how to get children to school in a safe, clean, healthy way. And we realized that way is by changing the way the school bus is powered and powering it by propane.
Well, Tucker, you are the Propane Education and Research Council president and CEO. So it would make sense that you're going to talk about propane. And I'll tell you what, I bet Hank Hill's real proud of you right now. He wants propane buses.
We often talk about Hank Hill, and of course he was a champion of all things propane. I love to say that we're a little bit of Hank Hill in that we're a part of a community, and we're very different than Hank Hill in that we are sophisticated investors and technologists and really working to make sure that propane is used correctly to clean the climate, to improve children's lives, and as you correctly said, to even help them be better able to learn in the classroom.
You know, I rode the bus my sophomore and junior year till I got a car. I rode the bus, and, the cool kids, where we rode. I say I was a cool kid. I got to ride the back of the bus, so I guess I was. But, we're back there in that cesspool of diesel just breathing it in.
Well, the thing I always like your listeners to think about, they've been behind a school bus when it pulls away from the bus stop. They've been behind a truck, and they see that cloud of black smoke. And you think about it, I mean, buses today generally aren't air conditioned. So that black smoke is in your neighborhood. That black smoke is in your bus. And, with a propane-powered bus, that cloud of black smoke is gone. And that's the benefit in a nutshell. We now know that in that cloud of black smoke really are two harmful things. One, nitrogen oxide, very harmful to young children's lungs, creates asthma, bronchitis, a whole host of respiratory illness. And there's also particulate matter, which is now a known carcinogen. So again, we go away from that diesel bus. That cloud of black smoke is gone in a propane-powered school bus. And that's what we're trying to get this nation to move to.
Well, a lot of people, Tucker, are okay with the little 3-gallon propane tank that they hook up to their grill, and they go exchange out at the convenience store. And then I was a forklift driver in my younger years, so I would deal with, a 500-gallon propane tank where you'd go out and you'd have to hook up the hose to your forklift and fill it up. And it was one of those cold pressure areas and everything. But a lot of people, when you ask them, when I saw this topic, I started talking to some friends of mine. They would go, yeah, but that propane, boy, it's highly combustible. Isn't propane dangerous? What are you doing to address some of the people that just might not understand how safe propane really is?
Well, you've already mentioned two great examples, and very, very much different examples, by the way. 50 million people, have a propane grill in their home. Propane-powered forklifts, I think you yourself would realize how safe that can be. And so in school buses, there is no more precious cargo. We clearly admit that, right? We work with UPS and FedEx and a host of other companies about propane-powered vehicles. There is no more precious cargo than a child. So these buses are made to the exact same federal standards that diesel buses are, or even electric buses. And so the standards are such that we feel very comfortable about safety. If I go a little bit beyond, though, the traditional view of safety, I want to talk about now, as we have said, these buses are so much healthier, so much cleaner, so much quieter that you have to agree these buses are much safer than a diesel bus, particularly if you think about safety of the child, safety of the community, to a degree, safety of the environment itself, and that we reduce greenhouse gas emissions.
But Tucker, you got to admit now, these diesel buses and all, I mean, to switch over to propane and to get the new buses in, it's got to be a boondoggle and be so much more expensive to have propane buses than it is to have diesel buses, or school systems would have propane buses. Come on, it's got to be more expensive, the propane buses.
So, Tom, the news is that it's not, the barrier to change is not about the price. A propane bus costs about the same as initial cost of a diesel. And once you operate it, it costs half that of a diesel. Now, this morning, 22,000 school buses across this whole country transported 1.3 million children. So we're beginning to make a dent in clean student transportation. As good as that sounds, though, that's only 5% of the market. So we have a long ways to go. But the barrier to the resistance to change is not going to be because of initial cost or operating cost. It's just be because we've always done it this way, and we have to get more and more fleet managers, parents talking to fleet managers to say, I demand a better way for my child to get to school. I demand a cleaner, safer, healthier ride for my child to get to school.
It's got to make you nuts sometimes to know that there are big municipalities that have changed out their public transportation buses to propane buses, but yet their school board buses, the buses that school boards oversee, they don't change it. That's got to drive you nuts.
Well, I don't want it to drive me nuts, but I do look at it as a challenge to try to get the word, because I think, particularly in school transportation, it's for everything there may be some reason you wouldn't do it. When we talk about clean student transportation using propane school buses, it's good for the child, it's good for the driver, it's better for the mechanics that work on the buses, it's better for the school system, it's better for the community, it's better for the earth. It's one of those rare instances where there is no downside, there's only upside, and just trying to bring that together in a conversation with fleet managers and get them to take that first step. Once they take the first step, they do like Fulton County has done, like quite a few other, in fact, all of Florida is so aware of clean climate. Florida has been a hotbed of adoption for propane school buses, but we just have to keep showing people the features and the benefits and hoping they'll make the right choice.
Where can somebody go? We got about 20 seconds. Where can somebody go to find out more information about the clean and safeness of propane-powered buses?
We created a website just for parents, just to engage, to see how they can engage in this conversation. That website is betterourbuses.com. Betterourbuses.com.
Thanks so much for joining us, Tucker, and thanks for what you're doing.
Thank you so much.
From the Ocala International Airport, this is WOCA AM, W242CA FM, Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
USA Radio News with Lance Pry.
An MH-60S helicopter from the USS Abraham Lincoln crashed into the sea while conducting routine flight operations about 60 nautical miles off the coast of San Diego, California, Tuesday afternoon.